All right, guys, we're continuing our notes on 2.3. And if I remember it, I think we finished here, yes? Did we start this one or did we finish it?
I don't think we started that one. We finished it. Wait, where are we at?
Yeah, I think we got that one just finished in.
Oh yeah, that one's finished. Sorry, I thought it was on.
So, before we start this here, are there any questions over the homework? Questions over the homework assignments? 2.1 and 2.2. 2.1 and 2.2. So we're finishing up the lesson
Today or
tomorrow. So we're going to get through almost all of this here. We're getting to the last part tomorrow.
So should we get doing our homework tomorrow?
So I will give you the assignment today because half of it we can do. So up to this point, we'll do a few more with finding the equation based off the information given. Tomorrow, we're going to find the vertex, axis, symmetry, focus, and directrix from the equation. So, here, this is the first one we're looking at. Now, our general equations, we had either y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. Now, the vertex is the point h comma k. Now, our focus for y equals is h comma k plus p. Our axis of symmetry is x is equal to h. And our directrix, y is equal to k minus p. So this isn't anything new. This is what we started off yesterday with these general forms. Our other equation, x is equal to a times y minus k squared plus h. Vertex is still the point h comma k. Focus is h plus p comma k. Axis of symmetry, y is equal to k. And our directrix is x is equal to h minus p. The only other thing we had was that a is equal to 1 over 4p, and p is equal to 1 over 4a. So it's a nice thing that this works out that way because it does make some of the calculations easier, especially with what we do tomorrow with finding the information from the equation. Okay. Now the first one we're looking at today is this one here. This one here is a little different. We do have the vertex, but we are given the focus, but this time we're not given the equation. Now let's look at the vertex and focus. So vertex is given to us as negative 1, 4. The focus is negative 1, 2. Which value didn't change? The negative 1, the first value, yes? So our x value, our h value. Well, if we look at the general form for our y equals, the vertex, we have h. The focus, we still just have h. Our k in the vertex becomes k plus p. It's changing. That's the main thing I'd focus on, because p, if p is negative, it would decrease it. If p is positive, it'll increase it. So we're not so much focused on if it's going up or down, but the fact that it goes from k to k plus p, because if that second value changes, we're looking at y equals. Now for our other equation, we're going from h to h plus p. So if that first value changes, the general form of the equation is x equals. So when we're looking at vertex and focus, we're trying to see which one changes, the x or the y from vertex to focus. And that tells us which one we have. Now for here, since the second value changed, well, That means we're using what? Y equals. So the general form for this is y is equal to a times x minus h squared plus k. We're still looking for a, h, and k, because once we find these three values, we plug them in. Vertex is the point h comma k. Our focus in the general form is h comma what? K plus p. Again, as I said, I would keep referring back to these. I would not try to memorize them because, again, it is easy to flip them. I just about flipped them. So again, I would keep referring back to the general forms. What are they matching up to? Because here it was given to us our vertex is negative 1, 4. Our focus is negative 1, 2. So it told us the value of h. What is h? Negative 1. K is 4. We don't have a yet. But inside the parentheses, we have x minus negative 1, yes? Do we normally leave it as x minus negative 1? No, we write what? X plus 1. Plus k plus 4. So the only thing we're really missing is the value of k. And to find a, we need to find p. But again, the focus gave us p. K plus p is 2. And our value of k is understood to be 4. So we're saying that 4 plus p is equal to 2. To solve for p, we would minus 4 from both sides. Telling us p is negative 2. Okay. Last thing we need to do is find a. A is equal to 1 over 4p. 1 over 4 times negative 2. Which is negative 1/8. That's it. Because once we find a, h, and k, we plug it in their spots, simplify where needed, and we're done. Questions on this here? Be ready for the next one. Well, again, they gave us the vertex. Vertex is nice. Because no matter which equation it is, it's still h comma k. Now, directrix is nice because it just tells us which one it is. Because if we look at the two general forms, well, for one of them, it's y equals k minus p. The other, x equals h minus p. Kind of tells us which one's which. So if it's y equals, directrix is y equals, well, the equation is y equals. If the directrix is x equals, the equation is x equals. So here, the directrix is y equals. So the general equation is y equals a times h squared plus k. We need to find a, h, and k. Questions on this so far? So vertex is h comma k, yes? One way we can do this. That might be nice, yes. We just use what it has. We don't necessarily have to repeat it, but vertex is h comma k, directrix is y equals k minus p. We match it up. So our h value is what? 8. K is 9. Well, that gives us most of the equation. X minus 8 squared plus 9. If it's coming from the back wall, that's the hallway. If it's coming from the wall on the right, that's the boys' room.
That's probably the boys' room.
Yeah. So that wall, for the most part, shared with the boys' restroom. The other wall is a closet, and on the other side of the closet is the girls' room. Yeah. K minus P matches up with our direct 6. So K minus P is 73/8. Now the K value is, so we're saying 9 minus P is equal to 73/8. So to solve, we would subtract 9 from both sides. Yes. 73/8 minus 9 is 1/8. So if we're to do this by hand, we need the denominators to be the same. So we would need to turn 9 into 8s. So 72/8, 70, or minus 72.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah. Subtract 1, or divide both sides by -1. P is -1/8. One of the nice, interesting things with this here, because we said negative P is equal to positive 1/8, yes? So if we're changing it from positive, or negative P to positive P, we'll have to do the other side sign. Change it. So the P went from negative to positive. The other side's going to go from positive to negative.
It's now time to release the softball girls. It's now time to release the softball girls. Thank you.
Before y'all head out, if y'all want to grab one of these, that is the homework sheet. 1 through 4 we haven't done yet. But 5 through 8 is what we've been doing today and yesterday. So if y'all want to get, so I'm giving those so y'all can get started on it if you want. We'll finish it up tomorrow. So I will pass that out to everybody else here in a bit. It's not as bad as you might think.
I just have a hard time watching videos.
Yeah.
I can't do that. I have to be like right here talking.
Yeah. If you need the extra time, just email me. I don't mind sticking around later or getting here early. All right, guys. We found P. We still need to find A. Because we found the value P, we need to find A. A is equal to 1 over 4 times negative 1/8.
I already done mine.
Yeah. If you do need whiteout, I have multiples of those.
Actually, every time I use whiteout, I do it wrong. Because usually I'm going to break it. No, I always mess up whiteout though.
So our A value is -2. So up to this point, most of the values of A have been fractional. They've been a fraction. They don't have to be. It just worked out that way on all the ones up to this point. So a is negative 2. Y equals negative 2 times x minus 8 squared plus 9. Yep. Yeah, just try it a few times. It takes a minute sometimes for it to catch up. Mm-hmm. So,
You should show me.
mm-hmm. So. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hopefully it doesn't take a whole lot of pressure for it. It's
They always break it and like pulls out like the plastic for it and they just break it. So I don't use my hand.
questions on this here. Are you ready for the next one? So again, they gave us the vertex and focus. So, all right guys, focus in here. So I need to see which one's changing, the first value or the second? First value. So if we look at the general form, the one where the first value is changing is our x is equal to a times y minus k squared plus h. Because for our x equals equation, the first value changes from focus to vertex, or vertex to focus. Questions on how we got to the general form? So when I look at this here, and kind of why we got this, so I look at the vertex. Vertex is told to me is negative 8, negative 9. I look at the focus. Our focus is negative 31/4, 9. So 8 changed to negative 31/4. The 9 didn't. So if we look at this here, vertex, here h is still h. The other value goes from k to k plus p. We're adding something that's changing. Well, if we look at here, the second value, k, is still just negative 9. So we're not using the y equals. If we look at x equals, well, it's going from h to h plus p. It is changing. There's a different value. So that's how we get x equals. Now the vertex is still the point h comma k. Our focus is h plus p comma k. H is what? Negative 8. K is negative 9. Don't know A yet. We'll find it in a minute. But we can fill in most of this here because we have y minus what? Negative 9, or we can say y plus 9 squared plus h plus negative 8, or we can just say minus 8. Now the only thing we need to find is the value of p. Now h plus p is equal to negative 31/4. Now we know the value of h. H is negative 8 plus p is equal to negative 31/4. Now we can add 8 to both sides. Sevenths. Fourths plus 8 is 1/4. Questions on how we found p? Now we still need to find a, the number we plug in. So we're doing 1/4 times 1/4. Well, 4 times 1/4 is what? 1. 1/1 is 1. So the value of a is Now we can write 1 times our y squared, y minus y plus 9 squared, or we can leave it as x equals. If you do the multiplication of 1, that is still correct. I will not mark it wrong. If you leave it as this here, that is still correct. They're both correct. Questions on this here? One more. Questions on this so far? We ready for the next one? What is different about this one than the ones? We don't have the vertex. We can still solve it. It's still solvable. It just takes a few more steps. So we can't tell what's changing, but the directrix does give us a nice hint. So since the directrix is x equals, well, there's only one of the two that has a directrix of x equals a number. So that means we're using the general form of x equals a times y minus k squared plus h. So even though we were given the focus and directrix, we're still able to find the equation. We still need to find the values of a, h, and k. Now for us, the focus, I'm going to write off to the side because we don't quite have room there. H plus P, make sure, yes. H plus P, comma, K, or directrix. All right, off to the side. Is the equation x is equal to h minus p. Negative 63/8, comma, negative 7. Well, since we weren't given the focus, we weren't immediately given h and k, but we were given one of them. Which value of h and k do we know? K, because k is negative 7. We weren't given a h for this one. That's the only downside of not having the vertex. We're not given both. Questions on this so far? Well, let's see what we do have. We have that h plus p is equal to negative 63/8. We also have that h minus p is equal to negative 65/8. We have a system of equations. We have two equations with two variables. Now, unlike the 3-variable equations that we did at the start of the year or a few weeks ago, we only have 2. Also, with this here, h plus p, h minus p, if we have this equation, it's going to be that. The only difference is the other one would be k plus p and k minus p. They're going to be a similar form. We don't have to do anything to make h or p be the same because they are already the same. So we can just say h plus p is negative 63/8 over our h minus p is equal to negative 65/8. We can go on and eliminate h or p. Because when we did this here, we put them over the top of each other. Then we had to determine if we were going to add or subtract to eliminate a variable, yes? Let's say we pick addition. Well, our p's, p plus negative p would be 0, yes? Okay, so that works. We eliminate a variable. We can go from there. Let's say I decided a minus. Well, the p's wouldn't eliminate. What's h minus h? So does it matter what we do? No, we just need to pick one. Y'all want to add or subtract? We can add these together. Because if we add, we eliminate p. If we subtract, we eliminate h. It's just figuring out which one we're going to find first. Now our h plus h is 2h. P plus negative p is 0. Now we're having to add negative 63/8 and negative 65/8. Negative 63/8 plus negative 65/8. And if we're lucky, it comes out to be a nice number. Negative 16. Now we just need to solve for h, and we do that by dividing both sides by 2, which tells us h is equal to negative 8. Now we need to find p. Yep, AP. Now to find p, I need to pick one of these two equations to find p. I would say the plus, yes. And the only reason I would go with the h plus p over the h minus p, p is already positive. I don't have to try to multiply or divide by negative 1 to fix that. Just one less step. So we can say negative 8 plus p is equal to negative 63/8. To solve, we can add 8 to both sides. Minus p is negative 63/8 plus 8 is 1/8. I would say that that's awesome. But I've also done this problem for this is the third time today, so I should know the answer by now. Only thing we need to find now is what? Hey, 1 over 4 times, which is 2. So x equals 2 times y minus negative 7, or y plus 7 squared, plus negative 8, or we can just say minus 8. A few more steps. It's not, I wouldn't say so much harder than what we did. It's just more steps. It's more involved. Yep. Welcome. Now the problems that come or have the focus and directrix on it for the homework is a grand total of 0.
You want to hand me another one?
3, 4, 5. I'll give them one extra, so. Yeah. So 1 through 4 we have not done yet. That's what we're going to be doing tomorrow. 1 through 4 is tomorrow. I wanted to go on and give this to you today because 5 through 8 is what we've been doing. So y'all can go on and get started on those so that you can get that halfway done.